For the last few months, Americans have been through a range of emotions as the nation deals with COVID-19. But now we're starting to see more hope among those feelings. A new Monmouth University poll found fewer Americans are concerned that a family member could become seriously ill with the virus. 42% say they're very concerned. That's compared to 50% last month. The change comes despite more Americans saying they know someone who's contracted coronavirus. That number is up to 40% from 26% in April. Financially speaking, 40% said they'd suffered a loss in income, and 31% said at least one person in their household had been laid off due to the pandemic. Still, the survey found that American optimism, while taking a slight dip, was still strong. 63% of Americans said they were very hopeful that their lives would get back to normal as soon as we get past the coronavirus pandemic. And we will continue bringing you updates and perspective on the coronavirus. You'll find much more coverage on 11alive.com and in our 11 Alive app.